All right, welcome to the Road CHEETAH Project. We are back for another episode. We're back for Comic Wednesday. It's late, and I'm sorry, but I had a few things that took priority today, and one of those things was definitely a nap. So, but I'm up and I'm back, and I'm live and I'm lit and I'm ready to do it. We don't have a bunch of comic books to talk about today, and on top of that, we don't have a bunch of extra stuff to talk about. So, we want to talk about books, get in, get out. So, we're going to do that. Give me one moment. Okay, so we are ready to do that again. Welcome back to the Road CHEETAH Project. Hope you've been enjoying stuff so far. Thanks to everybody who has been tuning in, has been supporting. Always like, comment, subscribe. Also, the podcast is live. Check the podcast out. We drop episodes there pretty much every Tuesday, but definitely every Friday. And then also check me out on Vimeo. Some extra content's there as well. And we're pushing forward with content on this side of the project too, as far as Vegeta and crossing over to some other things as well. So everything's been going pretty much as planned. So, and I'm pushing forward. So we'll see what happens with everything. So I appreciate you if you're tuning into this, and I also appreciate you if you've been tuning into some of the other things that have been produced across any platform, the podcast, the YouTube, the Vimeo, what have you. All right, so we're on Stitcher, we're on iTunes. Hit us up, and then also again, Vimeo is live too. So thanks to you. All right, so I wouldn't be doing this without anybody, giving support. So appreciate it. So anyways, let's get started with ACCELL number 2. Shout out to Lion Forge for really stepping out of the box and bringing us another speedster, but doing it so far in a different way. At least stylistically, this is something that's pretty interesting and catching my eye. And this particular issue, this issue number 2, it's animated out way more than the first one, and I really appreciate that. Be getting into more anime, so tune on the podcast side for more things. Also on the podcast side, I'm gonna push up a comic book from every week up to the podcast side, so I can get the podcast side some of that as well. So we are going to talk about Jean Grey number 4 and probably Jean Grey number 3, because I think we pushed on that from the last time we did a comic book Wednesday. So Jean Grey 3 is going to push up to Tuesday on the podcast, so we're going to talk about that. But anyways, ACCELL. Jean Grey number 3, number 4. But anyways, ACCELL. Shout out to Lion Forge, the new kid on the block again. Man, I really like the art on this. Let's see who we can give credit to on the art team on this. Let's see, covered by Damian Scott, Robert Campanella, and Sigmund Torrey, and written by Joe Casey, penciled by Damian Scott. So inked by Robert Campanella with Marsh Studios already. Also colored by Sigmund Torrey with Marsh Studios, and lettered by AW's DC Hopkins. So I mean, they all came together, did pretty good work on this. So I wanted to give them a good shout out on that. And then also, man, this is just a speedster story, and not even a speedster story, but a young superhero story, and they really give you a lot to digest visually. And the story doesn't hold it back either. It's all pretty lit. It's all pretty legit. So I mean, Lion Forge is new in the block, but if you want to get out of DC, get out of Marvel, and look at some other things, ACCELL is a good bet. And there's some other things coming up. So always check out previewsworld.com to see how else you can get outside of the mainstream comic world, DC, Marvel. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens pushing forward with this. And this particular speedster is starting to tap into his potential and his powers in the second issue, and so they're going to push it forward to maybe revealing a big bad, and also giving us some more depth in his ability. So it's pretty good. I give the art an 8 out of 10, and I give the cover a solid 8 out of 10. Maybe a 9 out of 10. I really like this cover. I'll give the cover a 9 out of 10. And I'll give the story a 7 out of 10. So they're pushing it, and I believe in this. I believe in this, and I'm a firm believer as far as stepping outside of DC and Marvel. This hasn't been bad so far. So I'm interested to see how far this goes, and how the story develops, and how they can push the limit on that. So Good job, Line Force. Good job, ACCELL number 2. All right, that's it's been pretty interesting so far. Okay, pushing forward, let's try Venom 152. How about that? Let's see, Venom 152. All right. Venom's fighting a bunch of dinosaurs. And I don't know if that sounds really cool to you or really lame to you. It sounds pretty cool to me because they're giving me a different Venom story. It's not him against Spider-Man. It's not him against himself. It's not him against Carnage. You know, and I mean, and it's a bunch of dinosaurs. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of, I don't know. But, I mean, with the premise of the story lacks, you definitely get it back in straight up pencils and art and color. So I mean, so it really carries that really gives the story some really strong validity, and making it something that you can really you know, not clown on, because I mean, you think of dinosaurs, you're like, okay, at least I think of, but then I see the art, and then I'm like, then it's a turn into a different, okay, it's kind of like, oh, okay, I see, I got it now, you know. And so it's obviously we have really had good things to say about Venom so far, and this doesn't change. I mean, I think the story might be in its weird stage as far as, you know, right before it begins to ratchet up, or maybe before, you know, they you know, lose the will. But I don't know. It's decent. It's decent. It holds water. The art is just here, man. This artist is just fantastic. We've been raving about this artist every time we talk about Venom, and that's Sandoval. He's killing it. So just for that fact, it'd be worth picking up Venom. You know, so I give the cover 8 out of 10, but I give the in-book art a 9 out of 10 straight up, and then I give the story a 7 out of 10. So we'll see how the story develops. I mean, they're putting in some interesting things that could really be big later. But as far as the standalone, 7 out of 10 on the story. But everything else really hits home on this as far as the art's concerned. So if you're into Venom, you're missing out if you haven't picked up on Venom yet. All right. Pushing forward, X-Men Blue number 7. X-Men Blue number 7 is pretty interesting, actually. But it's interesting in ways that might not exactly be stand outish to the casual. And I hate to use that word, but X-Men 7 is pretty interesting. I would definitely give it some time. Let's see, X-Men Blue, especially since it's picked up from that foolishness that it was like maybe an issue or 2 ago. I forgot which one it is, but it's back. It's back to being who it is. The fight scenes are there, and that's what this particular X-Men iteration, or what you want to call it, has excelled at from its issue 1. It's its action. And the story is not, and the story holds water, and it backs everything else up. You know, it's a foundational story. So, and they recruited a new Wolverine to the team, so that hasn't disappointed my mind. And I really appreciate what they're bringing to the table as far as colors and action still. So X-Men Blue is sticking around. We'll see what happens. The X-Men team just took an L from another like pseudo X-Men team. So it'd be pretty interesting to see what happens from here on out, and who's the big bad and who's the puppeteer and who's not. I know they're getting to that. So, and again, Cyclops is my favorite X-Men. So he plays a big role in this so far. So I'm appreciative of that. And it's been good. It's been good. X-Men Blue. This is the variant cover that you're showing with the old school 90s. Shout out to the 90s. Jean Grey. Love that. Oh, in the 90s X-Men. So and just off of pure nostalgia, and I give this cover a 9 out of 10. I give the in-book art a 8 out of 10. I think they could do a little better, but it was still pretty legit. The fight scenes are dope. But I'll give the story 8 out of 10. I think it satisfies pretty well on the end too. So X-Men Blue's been doing its thing. I think they only had like one hiccup since we've been dealing with them. So we'll see. excuse me, we'll see what happens pushing forward. Okay, so the last book we have today is going to be a short episode, and this is the casting. Dark Days, #1. Dark Days is pushing forward with their big story arc, involving all the big guns of DC, as it would seem. Batman, Joker, Green Lantern, the new Robin, Wonder Woman, Hawkeye, and his chick. Superman, probably. I'm sure Superman's gonna play a role in this at some point or another. I don't know if he's been in any of them so far, but I'm sure that's gonna change really soon. And also, as far as non-fiction concerned, you know, you got big guns as well. Snyder, Tinian, Lee, Cubbert, Romita Jr., you know, Mickey, Sinclair, Jansen, Williams. So I mean, they're really, you know, pulling out all the stops for this. Again, the only people that are missing are like Daniels and our man Capullo. Sorry about that. Those are the only really big guns that was missing. But anyways, let's see. Dark Days, the casting. This is the John Romita cover print here. I don't have that one. I only could pick one today. So I went with the Jim Lee one, which is this one. And then on the thumbnail of this episode, we'll have the cover one up, and that says Wonder Woman and Batman. But I like this one a lot. This is the one I have, and it's a really multifaceted cover. They're doing a really good job of really beasting out covers on this particular run. So off top, the cover is 10 out of 10, no matter which one you do. I mean, Romita kills shit. Obviously, Jim Lee kills shit, and then Cubbert is killing shit lately too. So I give them all good credit. But so 10 out of 10 on the cover. So but moving into the story, man, the story is really cryptic and ambiguous, and it's really frustrating to me because I don't know what's going on. They're really being real tight-lipped as much as they can, and within the context of the story about what's going on. And the Joker is around being the fuckhead that he is, but it still doesn't make sense why he's around. And I mean, like, in the context that he is, it's been kind of frustrating in that sense. Not frustrating in a bad sense, just like, okay, I'm ready to know what I'm looking at here, what's going on, but they're not giving me that action yet, which is fine. I guess we won't know until the actual Metal comes out in Metal #1, which is Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo 6-issue event. That doesn't happen until August, so I guess we won't know what's going on exactly until then. But I guess we're done with the big time collab between pretty much the big faces in all of comic book artistry. So, but I'm glad I was able to get in the training again, man. A lot's happening with Batman, and Batman's obviously the central part of all this, and who knows what role he's actually playing and what role he's not, and that's the frustrating thing about it. I mean, you just have to read this to really know what I'm talking about, and you have to read the cast or Dark Days #1 too as well. But there's a whole bunch of extra shit going on. The Greek gods are involved or semi-involved, and there's just a whole bunch of players, so we'll see what happens. So, I mean, I'll give the story an 8 out of 10. I really can't give Scott Snyder any less than that in most instances. And then I'll give the in-book art, man. I mean, you can't. How can you hate on the collaborations that the people that are collabing together? Romita, Jim, Cubbert. So I mean, 9 out of 10. I'm gonna go ahead and say 9 out of 10 because I don't know if this is their best action here, but it's still them. So they walked in at a pretty high bar. So 9 out of 10 in-book art, 10 out of 10 cover, 8 out of 10 story. Just from a period, I don't know what the fuck's going on type thing, and they're not literally letting us in on that. But I think that's by design. So, but everything's tying back into Batman 52, probably from the earliest Batman 52, probably Batman 52 #3 or something like that. So it's crazy, that tie-in. So I'm sure there's a lot going to happen pushing forward in that 6-issue event that's coming out in August. So stay tuned for that. And also, again, visit your local comic book shop for anything else that you might need. Always hit me up on Twitter. Always hit me up on here. Comment, whatever. If you have questions, always visit your local comic book shop. And shout out to Perry Comics here in Wichita, the 316. Shout out to all the 316 Shout out to whoever your city is that you're listening from. And yeah, but again, shout out to 316, shout out to Prairie Dog Comics, shout out to Mark, shout out to Mel, shout out to Paul, shout out to all the clique that I used to run with there, the Thursday clique, and we're gonna keep it pushing. It's the Real Cheetah Project, and that's it for this particular Wednesday. We'll see you Friday. See Friday on the podcast side, and then the cycle starts all over again. It's been interesting lately, trying to level up, and it hasn't been really easy. So I'm open for prayers out there, and I'm also rosary all day, praying for everybody else out there, that are hopefully they're getting value from this and get something they can apply to their lives, and and take a break every once in a while, talk about nerd stuff, and also get on the path of leveling up as well. This is all it's about. So getting to the ultimate level up, which is heaven. So anyways, we'll see you next time. We'll talk about that. And we talk about the past, and we'll talk about all that in the future. So I'm out of here. We'll see you next time. Praise the Immaculata, praise God, and then we'll also take care of yourselves. Real work all day, and thank you so much, the Real Cheetah Project.